Hi everyone, this is Bev Adamo, Wild and Wise Women, Wild and Wise Sisterhood. And originally today, it was the plan, our plan, to have one of our amazing authors from the Wild and Wise Women book collaborative that we're doing. And that's not the case. So I'm here and I've been divinely inspired to talk about what do you do in situations like this because, and I'm going to tell you right up front, I don't know a lot about this, about new moons or planets in retrograde or anything like that. Still, I'm here to let you know that's what's going on right now. There's like a new moon and a retrograde thing and all that kind of stuff. So and especially with people like us, women like us, wild and wise women, we have a lot of energy that's out and about, like around the world anyway. And I don't know if any of y'all have a issue with like technology or something not really working the way that it was planned. It's going to happen though. It absolutely is going to happen. So I want to talk about this. What do you do when you know that there's something in the air or the stars are aligned in a certain way or things like that, and you hear about that? What do you do? Do you automatically go to that place of, for example, retrograde? That doesn't sound good, right? Do you automatically go to a place where, uh-oh, I need to be careful, I need to watch out, I need to do this? Well, I don't look at energy that way. I don't look at the news that way. What I look at it as is kind of like a weather report. And I'm not alone in this. There are a lot of really amazing people who talk about this, that when we know that there are certain energy patterns in place or things that are happening and such, that instead we can have that as an awareness. And then we can live our lives in a way knowing that everything, including retrogrades and different kind of moon phases and everything else, everything is in place exactly when it's meant to be, exactly on purpose. Ah, so Bev, does that mean that I can just walk around and not worry about what anybody else says about anything happening or the energies or things like that? Well, basically, yes, it does. That does mean that. And at the same time, if we look at that kind of thing like an energy report as a weather report, if we know it's going to be raining, I live in Northern California, and right now we're experiencing some amazing storms and a lot of rain. So I usually carry an umbrella or a raincoat or my hoodie or something in my car so that when I do get out and about and there's a sudden downpour, I don't have to be drenched the way I was at one time or another. So when it comes to energetics and energy in motion and things like that, yes, it's nice to know about some of the things that are going on, if only from a perspective of being prepared, not necessarily being cautious, not calling things off, not, changing your life in a big way. It's simply knowing that it's possible that things could show up. And I mean, just like the rain, there's sometimes if I'm out there and I'm not prepared for it and I get totally drenched, that maybe I'm I'm uncomfortable, there's some discomfort and I'm not really liking it too much. And at the same time, I love the rain, thank goodness for the rain, the water, the refresh, the clean air that happens as a result of Mother Nature doing her thing. And that's really kind of the way energetics are and retrogrades and things like that. It's the universe doing its thing in divine design. So do we need to be afraid of that? Absolutely not. Can we be aware of it? Yes, absolutely. And some of it's really interesting. And what I love most is when I'm looking at some kind of information, people who actually study these things and who know way a lot more than I do about how it works and everything. I like listening to experts and masters because there are oftentimes ways that we can use these energetics to kind of boost our power. For example, I believe that this retrograde has to do with relationship. So looking at what kind of relationship in your life, and this is good to do anytime, but especially now when we've got the universe in motion and supporting us, we can look at how we can support the relationships in our life and ask ourselves, what quality of relationships do we have in our lives? What's the quality of relationship with myself? Are there parts of myself that need to be integrated a little better? You know, not so much not part of the team. Do I need to transform some of my beliefs? How is my relationship with myself? How's my relationship to spirit? You know, is there some way for me to enhance that during this time frame when the energy is in motion? Questions? You ask your questions, you're going to get the answers. So start being curious. When you know that there's something specific, that there's a buzz and everybody's talking about this, that, or the other thing happening, ask yourself, how can this work for me? Because everything, again, happens for us, not just to us. So how can this work for me? So that's what I've been asking myself today as I went through the journey of understanding that I wasn't going to be able to do the Facebook Live that I thought was going to be today. And it was like, okay, sure. Spirit, what do we have? What do we want to talk about? And this is what really wanted to be talked about, is that we don't need to limit our lives or limit our actions or limit our beliefs or anything like that because of what we perceive as outside forces. We don't need to do that. And at the same time, we can take advantage of those outside forces to work with us. So in relationships, we looked at, you know, how's your relationship with spirit? How's your relationship with self? Use this also to look at any relationships that they've come to the end of their time. There's been a lot going on around relationships lately, I've noticed, and I wanted to allow this to lead me into another place here, because I had somebody ask me about whether or not it's appropriate to hope or have faith in someone changing when you're starting a relationship with them. So whether it's a friendship or a business collaboration or a life partner, I want you to ask yourself this. When you're talking to that person, when you're being with that person, when you're interacting and connecting, ask yourself, could you be a friend to this person? Could you be a business partner to this person? Could you be a life partner to this person if they never changed anything about themselves? Interesting question. And that would be the kind of thing that you really want to start looking at now. It's a perfect energetic time to do that. And the reason why you want to do that, why you want to ask yourself, could I be in business with, friends with, or partnership for life with someone just as they are now, is because while people have the ability and capability to change, and oftentimes they do, it's not a guarantee. It absolutely isn't. So if you're going into a friendship or a business collaboration or even a life partnership with someone who there's just some things that are not working for you, not judging, not saying they're good, bad, or indifferent, they're simply not working for you. So when you're looking at this person, and it doesn't have to be a new person, you can start looking at the relationships right now that you have, that maybe you have been in a place of hoping or having faith that this person would change. Start looking at them now and ask yourself, do I still want to continue to be in friendship with this person? Do I still want to continue to be in business with this person? Do I still want to have a partnership with this person just the way they are? Because they don't have to change. It's not a requirement of life. I know change happens around us, and yet it's so amazing to me how many people are willing to continue to be uncomfortable and not change when just a little bit of change could make such a difference. But it's not about them, it's about you. What is best for you in your relationships? A perfect time for this. And one of the things about Wild and Wise Women, light workers, those of us who are in service, is that we almost by divine design are changing, transforming. We're looking for ways to be our best self. It's part of why you're here, finding your voice, getting your messages out there. That's what we're looking for, and that's who we are. Not everyone is like that, and they weren't meant to be. That's the other thing too. I You know, I used to be literally beat my head against the wall with people who they were happy-ish where they were. And it wasn't about me waking them up or anything else. What I needed to do was realize that they were on their path, I'm on my path, and the two paths together, it just didn't work. And so the best thing for me to do for myself and for this other person is to turn and walk away. And when we do that, we actually create a space for other people to change. I've talked before about with my parents both being alcoholics, and it wasn't until I was at that very last bit of codependency, trying so hard to save my mother and to save her life. It wasn't until I let go of that before I allowed myself to realize that if I didn't do something, I was going to die along with her. Until I realized that and said, no, I can't do this anymore. I have to move away. And it was in my moving away that she actually found the strength to get into recovery and make all these incredible changes and everything else. So one of the best things you can do for another person, if who they are and how they are doesn't work for you, is to walk away, because then, like I said, we create that space for them to change. I also wrote in my book the 3 reasons about my husband and our relationship. And at a certain point in that relationship, I said, you know, I can't do this anymore. And fortunately for me, I wasn't in a position financially or emotionally or mentally to divorce or walk away. What I did do, though, is that I disconnected from being so codependent with him. And instead, I treated him with love and respect as another being on this planet. And then I started working on myself. So I was able to, you know, make that turn away from that person and give that space to happen simply by focusing inward. So if there are some people that you're not willing to completely disconnect from or completely walk out of their lives, you can do that as well. You can bring your focus back inside you with respect to this other relationship, and know that in working on yourself and being your best self, you again create that space for that other person to step up. They don't have to. Don't expect it. It could actually happen. And that's what happened in my marriage. It was amazing. It's like the more I was my better me, the more Rick also rose to his better self as well. It was incredible. And it was only because I stopped trying to make that relationship work the way it was and said, what do I need to do to be a better me? Forget about the relationship, just a better me. So if you have a situation like that where it's really, you know, just not going to quite be able to totally walk away, put your focus inward so that you can really focus on yourself and being your better self. Take your expectations out of the picture with respect to that other person and who they are and what they do, and with respect to your relationship itself. You know, allow your relationship to be pure and unconditional, and work on yourself. And from that place, you can absolutely create the space for incredible magic and incredible miracles. So thank you all for joining me today. Again, please forgive the divine design and plan, because evidently it was this. And one of our authors will be back. I'm gonna jump off right now and go record a session with her, and we'll get Jane up here so you can experience her magic just as soon as possible. So to everyone out there, take this opportunity with this energy that one could perceive as negative to be a very positive thing for you. Look at your relationships. Make some changes. Be courageous. Be wild, and absolutely be wise. So until next time, you are very, very completely and absolutely loved. Thank you.